Welcome back. Automakers are responding to President-elect Donald Trump's tough talk on border taxes by bringing manufacturing jobs back to the United States. But General Motors CEO Mary Barra says she's not backing down. Jeff Flock is at the North American International Auto Show this morning. He's in Detroit with GM CEO Mary Barra. Jeff, over to you.
I just asked Mary if she's tired of being the person that everybody always wants to talk to. Wouldn't that have been great in high school?
Well, I think it would have been a different time then, would have been interesting, but I really love the opportunity to talk about our cars, trucks, and crossovers and our team.
They wouldn't have asked you, though, about Donald Trump back in the day, but I'm going to have to now. You got Chrysler yesterday saying bringing jobs back from Mexico, Ford's canceling a plant down there. So what's GM doing?
Well, I think when you look at what General Motors has done, over the last 2 years, we've invested $11 billion into the United States. We have over 100,000 jobs. The Bolt EV that is right behind us, that's built in Orion, Michigan, as well as the Traverse that we just announced is built in Lansing. So we have significant jobs in this country, and we're also the highest contented OEM. So we have a lot to talk about in that space.
But you import more vehicles from Mexico than any other automaker. You make your Sonic and your Aveo down there, small cars you make down there.
Well, I don't think it's true. We don't import more vehicles than any other automaker.
Who does more? I have the numbers I can put up.
Well,
Who do you think's more?
I know that when we look across, I think it depends. There's of how you look at all of the different OEMs. We're over 70%, and I think that's not true of all the OEMs that sell vehicles in this country.
Content, because it's complex business.
Right.
Parts come from different places. Assembly takes place in a different place.
And that's where one of the things where I do know we are the highest content from the U.S. into our vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Can you make, given the tariff situation right now, if you make a car in Detroit and you sell it in the EU, you pay a 10% tariff. If you sell it in Brazil, you pay a 35% tariff. If you make that same car in Mexico and sell it in those places, you pay no tariff. Does there need to be some kind of a leveling of the playing field, some sort of a tariff that levels that playing field? Well,
it's a very complex business, and our primary strategy is to build where we sell. I think there's room to make some changes that are going to make it, improve it, and make it more equitable across the globe. And we'll work to make sure that that is done in a way that comprehends the complexity of this business.
You make, as I said, the Aveo and the Sonic down there. Can you, because your competitors do the same thing, can you make small cars at a profit in the U.S.? Clearly, the strategy has been we can't, right?
Well, we don't comment on individual car line profitability. I think when you look at our overall results, we're generating strong results across the entire portfolio, and beyond that, I'm not going to talk about individual car lines.
Yeah, but just small cars in general. I mean, everybody makes their small cars not in the U.S., right?
Well, we make the Sonic is actually made in Orion as well. So we're one of the few manufacturers making a very small car in this country. Behind
us here, Chevy Bolt EV just won Car of the Year.
Yes, very excited.
Won a whole load of things. Electrics. Given the current situation with oil, you've got a president in the White House who says, essentially, drill, baby, drill. You've got the Secretary of State who's a former oil guy. Former governor of Texas is the new energy secretary. We're going to get low gas prices for a long time, aren't we?
We believe gas prices will be lower for longer, but we also believe electrification is a very important part of the future, and we're very proud of our leadership. We just started delivering Bolt EVs to customers in California, and they're giving us rave reviews about the vehicle. So, we want to provide customers with choice.
Fuel economy standards. One of your predecessors or former colleagues at GM, by the name of Bob Lutz, once said, and I know you know what I'm going to say, that global warming is a crock of, well, I won't say what he said, but anyway. Fuel economy standards went in place back in the 70s because of the Arab oil embargo and dependence on foreign oil to shrink that. We don't depend on foreign oil anymore. Do we even need fuel economy standards?
Well, I think it's very important that we look over the long term about the environment, and General Motors wants to be very responsible and really move society forward with having the right vehicles being very environmentally responsible. I think electrified vehicles are going to be a big part of that solution, and we're going to work to improve our vehicles regardless. But I think as we look at CAFE standards, what we're looking for is some flexibility to leverage the technology that we have to make sure we can do the best from an environmental perspective and still keep costs within range from a customer perspective.
You want them relaxed.
We want them streamlined, and we want more flexibility.
Yeah. Just lastly, to return to the Trump issue, do you feel any pressure from you're the only one of the CEOs in Detroit that's on the President's Economic Council, right?
I think that's a great opportunity to represent the industry and make sure the issues are known.
You feel pressure at all from him?
I think it's an opportunity. No, I feel it's a great opportunity to represent the industry and General Motors on that council. And I think.
Do you mind the tweeting?
I think that's become a very effective mode of communication for our president-elect, and I respect the communication paths he chooses.
Even when he says, hey, you're making your cruise, he kind of had the facts wrong on that, huh?
Well, again, I respect his right to communicate, and we're going to work very proactively because we have more in common with what he's driving than we have apart.
You said that last night.
I did.
Yeah, well, we hope that's true.
I believe it is.
Mary Barra, so great to see you and talk to you in person, and if this was high school and it were a party, I would still want to talk to her, whether she had anything to say about Donald Trump or not.
Thank you.
Maria?
You know, Jeff, I would only add to your great conversation with Mary Barra, but I would want to know, given this 15% corporate tax rate that we're expecting, what would that do to her behavior at GM? I mean, is she going to make any changes if taxes go to 15% and regulations are rolled back?
Maria's asking, I didn't ask you about corporate taxes, but they're talking about a rollback of corporate taxes. What would that mean for you?
Well, first off, when we look at the company specifically, we have lost carry forwards from the bankruptcy, but we still pay taxes here. We haven't done some of the things other companies have done. So, we are looking for, we think overall, a lower corporate tax rate would obviously be better for business and help drive the economy. So, we'll voice in on that as well.
And relaxing regulations.
Well,
this could be a
streamlining and simplifying could very much be great for the company and for the industry, but I also think great for the country.
Great for the country as well. Thanks, Maria. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to ask about corporate taxes.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Flock and Mary Barra joining us in Detroit.